Hey guys, welcome back to Lit Mag Lab podcast. So previously, I was giving you a tour of a literary magazine called Mudroom. Yeah. So check it out. Listen back to the episode. Again, they do pay writers for their work. It's $15 per accepted piece, right? As of 2026. If you listen back to that episode, then very cool. Yeah. So we are going to be taking a look at FlowerSong Press today. And yeah, their logo caught my eye, and actually, I don't know if you guys remember this, or, for those of you who are, members of CLMP or follow the community of literary magazine and presses, again, if you are not aware of that, I do have an episode on this podcast. Just a reminder, again, where I cover that. So you can listen back to episode 82 if you'd like, to learn more about CLMP, the community of literary magazines and presses. But FlowerSong Press, back in January 16th, 2024. This is from the press center page on CLMP, right? So they received $10,000 from the Constellation Award. Yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome that they had won it. And again, CLMP has a number of, different events and things that they have on their site, and a lot of great opportunities for members, right, of CLMP. So, to enter. Now, some of the award events aren't free, right? There's a fee and things like that, but still, I think that's really cool, that they received it, and yeah. Again, there are award events out there for magazines in general, right? That focus on, the quality of the publication and, the operations and all of that, and the Constellation Award, right? So again, quoting this off, given to honor an independent literary press that is led by and or champions the writing of people of color, including Black, Indigenous, Latinx, and Asian American and Pacific Islander individuals for excellence in publishing. And again, the Constellation Award was launched in 2021 by CLMP with the support of Penguin Random House, which has underwritten the award for its first 3 years. So, yeah, so that's very cool. And yeah, so there is an about here on it, right? So I'm just going to quote this off, and then we'll head over to their website too. Yeah. So Flower Song Press is a small independent press located in the Rio Grande Valley of South Texas, founded by David, I'm going to mispronounce names, Bowles. That's Bowles. I'm sorry if I mispronounce any names again. In 2013, under the creative vision of current publisher Edward Viderar. That's Vidaurre. Vidari. Vidar? I could have completely messed that up. I'm so sorry. The press now publishes 20 to 30 books of poetry, nonfiction, and fiction, as well as children's books and anthologies per year, with a focus on amplifying the lyrical and literary voices of the borderlands and beyond. So, yeah, from that year, right, 2024, right, it says here FlowerSong Press will introduce a new imprint, Brown Ink, curated by Frederick Louis Aldama, which will publish books that blend text with graphics and words of drawings across all genres. Brown Ink is dedicated to sharing stories focusing on Latinx experiences and identities. Additionally, right, in that year of 2024, FlowerSong Press, it states, right, um, was publishing the recipients of its first, I'm going to mispronounce this, Bougainvillea. And yeah, the recipients of its first, I'm going to spell it out for you guys, Bougainvillea Poetry Prize and the Chicanx Visions Book Award. So if I mispronounce anything, I do apologize again. I'm horrible at pronunciations. But yeah, so again, Flower Song Press, right, is based in McAllen, Texas. And yeah, so that's cool. They won the 2023 Constellation Award. And yeah, these were announcements, that happened, it looks like in 2024 with them, and yeah, so that's really cool. So yeah, check out, if you're thinking about starting your own lit manga journal, or, interested in learning more, CLMP isn't just for, lit mags and presses, right? They have a directory of publishers, a lot of information on events, news, and a great, mailing list as well to join. Yeah, and there's member benefits. So I do cover that on 2 episodes of this podcast. So totally, you can, search CLMP and you'll come across it. Again, just a reminder, you can see my screen out on YouTube, Spotify, Substack, and elsewhere. And if you're interested in watching the videos and following along, and they do have a member spotlight page from January 31st, 2023, right on the finalist page, right? And it goes into the history behind, FlowerSong Press here. Now, I'm not great at pronunciations, but the press was taken over. So yeah, and then I'm quoting this off. This is a Q&A with Edward, right, on CLMP, and states here that David handed over the press over to Edward. It looks like, right, and he took and Edward took over the press in 2017 and changed the name from Books to Press, right? Keeping Flower Song after. Now I'm going to mispronounce this. This is spelled Nahuatl, right? So I think it's pronounced Nahuatl, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. I could completely have messed that up, but that's yeah, it's tricky to pronounce that. And then there's also, I'm probably gonna mispronounce this as well. I do apologize. So I think it's pronounced Shochi. I think it's pronounced Shochil in Quicatl. Shochil in Quicatl. So yeah, I probably completely messed that up. It's kind of a tricky pronunciation, But yeah, so literally the flower, the song, a kenning for poetry. And yeah, so their small press, I'm quoting this from Edward's Q&A here. It states their small press nurtures essential verse from, about, and through the borderlands, publishing the voices of those from Latin America, the US, and all over the world. They are literary, lyrical, and boundless, and they welcome allies that understand and join the voice of people of color and their struggle of truth and hope. They publish novice, emerging, and established writers of poetry, fiction, nonfiction, and children's books. So that's awesome. And yeah, it says, right, being close to the border, right, that, gives, being close to the border of Mexico, right, gives them a unique perspective on life and creativity, right, and, based in McAllen, Texas. So yeah, they've been a member since 2022. And then there's also, it looks like, I'm going to mispronounce this, Juventud Press. That's Juventud Press. So it's their sister imprint that focuses on YA and children's literature with the mission to bring diverse books to young readers often marginalized by traditional publishing. So yeah, and then they have looks like a project, right? A joint project of Prickly Pear Publishing and Poly Press and FlowerSong Press called I think it's pronounced Anaqua. If I completely messed it up, I apologize. Anacua, Anaqua. I think it's hard. So yeah, I probably messed up a lot of these pronunciation, but I did the best I could. Yeah, to try and get them a little bit, but yeah. So it looks like the first edition of Anaqua Literary Arts Journal includes writers and artists all over the world. Well, back then when they did the first edition of it, right, and other countries, the theme was migration, but not only of people. And then yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, and then they had titles, right? And you can see, right? That's very cool. So that was from the news and features CLMP member spotlight, page. And then I was looking at the press center page. So yeah. So Flower Song Press, looks like they do a really good job, absolutely. And yeah, so they do have a duotrope page here, right? And various publishing projects, right? And has active projects linked here. Oh, then they have, I think it's Zenital. Now, I could be wrong on that. Zenital, I think that's how you pronounce it. It's XNITAL books. I probably got that wrong, and I'm sorry. But yeah, again, this is another imprint they have. So it looks like they have imprints. So again, something that your publication could do. I've seen other presses do this. Even they have various imprints, right? That they launch, right, and then they do different series or focuses, right? Maybe they have one focus, maybe again, just an example, right? That's adult focus, right? One that's young adult focus, or one for teens, or kids, younger audience, and then an older audience, right? Maybe they have two different imprints or something. I've seen that happen with publication houses and presses. So something to think about, and there are some publishers, right, that I've shared on this podcast that even have like some publications partnered with them, or collaborate, right, together, or umbrellaed and interconnected, right, and things like that, right. supporting one another. I've seen that too. So yeah, again, electronic publication, print publication showing, right? And yeah, and then it has, right, the lengths here, right, for this imprint, right? So um, 50 to 120 pages, right? Open all styles, literary all forms, general. It says open through April 30th, right? And they have, topics here listed: society, culture, ethnicity, race, social issues, seek guidelines. And the method: dual submission manager. Reprints are not allowed. Simultaneous submissions are allowed. And of course, you typically would just withdraw your work in most cases, right, if it's accepted elsewhere. But yeah, so yeah, let's take a look at their website now. So I just wanted to cover that because I thought that was really fascinating. Yeah, and again, they reiterate what their press focuses on, right? And yeah, I like that they have their mission statement front and center and what they focus on. And yeah, so they again welcome allies who understand and stand in solidarity with the voice of people of color, embracing their struggles, truths, and hopes, right? And yeah, it says they are literary, lyrical, and limitless. And yeah, again, just reiterating this, right? So their press nurtures verse, fiction, and nonfiction from about and throughout the borderlands, amplifying the voices of those from the Americas and beyond. They welcome allies who understand and stand in solidarity with the voice of people of color, embracing their struggles, truths, and hopes. They publish emerging and established writers across all genres, including poetry, fiction, nonfiction, memoirs, comics, young adult, and children's books. They are literary, lyrical, and limitless again. So yeah, then they have the staff here, right? The publisher and director, Edward, and Edward of Dowry. I could completely be mispronouncing the last name. I'm so sorry. And then the founder, right, David, and editor in chief, right? And yeah, the production editor, book designer, right? So you can see different roles on this team, right? They have a someone they have yeah, advisory editors, translation editor, format typesetter, book designer, production editor. So yeah, sometimes you'll see a full-fledged staff, or sometimes a publication will have maybe, two people. It all depends on every lit mag and journal press, right? As you've seen on the series that I've just shared, yeah, there's different structures, different team sizes behind each lit mag, journal, and press. So yeah, it's great that they have all the names of the masthead visible. It's not always necessary to have photos of everyone, but I think at least they have everyone's name, and of course, right, we can see, right, that they, are in CLMP, they're a member there, and they're, have won the Constellation Awards. And yeah, it looks like they have a featured post here, or, some again like Q&As and interviews, and yeah. So we're on the about section now. So we're gonna go to authors. They have it, looks like alphabetical, right? So authors' names A through H. Then they have, right, I think when you click on the authors, let's just click on Paula. And yeah, let's see. So then they have the bio and then the book here, right? So that's cool. I think that's a cool layout, right? So we can see the author name here, right? And then they have some fun ones, right? So yeah. Yeah, so that's cool, right? Love the rooster. So yeah. So yeah, that's cool. They have the books here in the bio and the photo, right? So that's Jose Alanis. I'm so sorry if I completely mispronounced any names again. But yeah, I think they have a good layout, right? And then they have Q through Z, right? So yeah, everything's alphabetized. Now, I like the that you can find authors, right? That's the most important part. So yeah, I'm just clicking around so you guys can see the layout, right? And yeah, of the and some of the titles they have, right? So yeah, that's really cool how they have it set up. So they do a good job of spotlighting every writer and their books and their work, yeah. So yeah, again, then they mention again the imprint, right? So that's awesome, right? And it says, right, where new light begins. And so at the bottom here, yeah, they do have like the poetry submissions guideline here. I think I would have missed that if I didn't scroll down further, right? I don't know if it's that on all of them. Let's see. I'm gonna go back here. Is it on all of them when we scroll down? Yeah, so they do have the guidelines right at the bottom. I think it might be good if that was a separate tab or submit, on this top part, because I think maybe someone might miss that unless they don't scroll all the way down. But yeah, it's nice that they have, the guidelines on their site though. And yeah, so they're currently, it looks like, open for poetry manuscripts, right? So again, and yeah, so they seek full-length collections that illuminate, challenge, and expand the literary landscape. They champion work from the borderlands and beyond, voices rooted in place, memory, resistance, joy, and transformation. Again, full-length poetry manuscripts, 50 to 120 pages, all styles and traditions welcome. Poets from underrepresented communities strongly encouraged. That engages meaningfully with culture, language, identity, or place. So the current submission period is open and active January 1st, 2026 to April 30th, 2026. So yeah, that was accurate on Duotrope again. Guidelines stating submitting a single PDF or Word document manuscript, include a title page with your name, email, and manuscript title. Include a brief bio, 75 to 100 words. Simultaneous submissions are allowed. Again, yeah, just notify them accepted elsewhere. They are using, Duosuma, right? And yeah, by Duotrope as their submission manager. And yeah, and then they have a contact information, right? So yeah, so I think this got blocked over, and yeah, but I think they'll fix this or adjust it. So selected manuscripts, so they have compensation publication here, so that's great. So a standard publishing contract, yeah. So typically, if you have a press, again, it's always a good idea to have write a contractual agreement. And even if you're dealing, like if you're lit mag, even right with payment, it is a good idea. Not absolutely necessary, but yeah, especially it absolutely is necessary if you're running a press or dealing with books or any publications. It is good to have an agreement. If you're not sure how to create an agreement, right? CLMP, a lot of the, again, founding editors, right? You could reach out to them and they could share a sample or help you draft it even, and, hop on a call or something. I'm sure, I've seen others do that, and it's, yeah, very cool. Yeah, so author copies and discounted bulk ordering, active marketing events, and community centered promotion. So it's not clear to me how many author copies you get and the discount exactly. I think it'd be nice to have that specified. But regardless, at least they're telling others, you get, this is what you get, after, getting published with them, what happens, right? It looks like they do promotion additionally, right? And other events. So that's great. And they are on social media. So of course, I haven't looked around a bunch in social media. So yeah. Now they do have a search at the bottom of their website here. I think I would have missed that if I didn't scroll all the way to the bottom. But yeah, I think it'd be nice if they had a separate, maybe, submit button up here, right? Um, Directly. But yeah, it's nice that they have all their imprints out here. And yeah, so then they have imprints here. So let's click on brown ink, right? So we'll scroll down. You can see on the right hand side, right, some of the titles. If I click into one of these, right, yeah, you can see this one's $18, right? Others can purchase it, and yeah, and then the author bios there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I think the others are laid out like that. So again, we have Juventud Press, right? And yeah, again, seeks to bring diverse books to young readers, often marginalized by traditional publishing. And yeah, so that's very cool. And yeah, so these are paperback titles, it looks like. So yeah, that's cool, right? So we have short stories, anthologies, it looks like here. Yeah. So we have Juventud Press, and yeah, again, seeks to bring diverse books to young readers, often marginalized by traditional publishing. So yeah, that's cool, yeah. And then I'm trying to just click around so you guys can see each imprint page. Luchadora Press, and yeah, so that's awesome. Yeah. Yeah, coming soon. You can see the and yeah, so Luchadora Press. So yeah, you can see they do have January to March 2026 submission windows for this, right? Luchadora Press. Yeah, so that's cool. And yeah, it just takes you out to their Duo Suma page, right? So yeah, you can see this is it. Then they have manuscript submissions now open, right? And you can click submit, right? And it'll take you out here. So yeah, then it has, right, I'm not logged in right now, but you can see, right, it has, right, anonymous submissions are not required, simultaneous submissions are not allowed. Oh, so for this one, it's saying simultaneous submissions are not allowed, right? And yeah, so I think on Duotrope it was saying something else, right? So yeah, right, let's see. Yeah, so here on Duotrope it was stating this, right? But this was for their other imprint, right? So this is not the same imprint. So I don't know about that, but yeah. Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. Just be mindful about that. Each imprint may have a slightly different guidelines, perhaps. But just read carefully, right? So yeah, each piece, right, submitted in a separate file. No limits on number of pieces per submission. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and yeah. So I'm not logged in right now, but yeah, I just wanted to show you that. So that's cool, Luchadora Press, right? And those are again titles that are on the way. And yeah, so it's dedicated to curating high quality new and selected collections and anthologies that celebrate craft, honor legacy, and introduce daring new work. So yeah, again, I use this podcast as like an audio diary, and sort of reminding me of like I was having memories of like watching Nacho Libre, and I give movie recommendations or movie memories tied to Lit Magazine journals or things they make me think of, right? Sometimes it's movie recs, song recs, or just some random memories for me. So yeah, Nacho Libre with Jack Black. I used to watch that quite a few times, and El Tigre was a cartoon show I used to watch as a kid, right, on Nickelodeon. It was pretty interesting. Yeah, that one I remember that animated series they had, and yeah, I was trying to remember anything else like movie wise. Well, I was thinking back to some Mayan and Aztec movies I used to watch, like Apocalypto, I think 2006. I've seen that more than once, and a few other ones over the years. There was some scarier ones too, and some travel related ones, I think others, and things like that. But anyways, yeah, so that's cool, right? They have all their imprints here, and again, another imprint, right? And yeah, I think their layout of their website is very clean and organized, and yeah, I think it'd just be again nice maybe to have the compensation and publication a little bit further out, and how many author copies and what the discount is exactly. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. They said where new light begins. So yeah, every press litmang journal, definitely has a sort of a, you could say, a motto or something, a mission and focus, right? So I think they do a good job of highlighting that, and yeah. So again, they have the books here and the categories, right? So you can browse, right? So they do comics. I love comics. Let's see comics. So yeah, they have comics here. That's fun, yeah. So yeah, I love reading comics, and looks like prose and comics. So Puro Pinche True Fictions, prose and comics by Jose Alaniz. And then award winner. So yeah, they have award winning books even, and yeah, that's really cool. New releases. They have workshop, right? Let's click on what's workshop. I don't know what that is. Nothing under there. So fiction, right? Yeah, nonfiction. I'm just clicking through so you guys can see all the pages, yeah. And memoirs, novel, short stories here, drama and plays, poetry. And yeah, I always like seeing the book cover art and the work, yeah, too, and titles. I'm just looking through young adults and children, right? And merchandise here, poetry again. I didn't scroll all the way down for you guys, but yeah. So yeah, they have published a lot of books over the years and some really cool titles. It looks really awesome. So I'm gonna have to check this out and bookmark it. This is the first time really diving in a bunch on their site. I have stopped over on their site before, but not like dived in as I'm doing now, right? So they have a news and events section. They do have a newsletter too that pops up when you first visit their site. So that's great. And yeah, so just any updates that they have here, and yeah, I think what they send out in their newsletter, right? So yeah, that they're open for submissions, the launch of their imprint, right? From that was back on December 1st, 2025, right? Zahnotl books, right? And yeah, and then some authors have won prizes even, right? So again, I think they do a good job. I do like their site layout, and how they have their, The Aldema Brown Ink Award is here, right? News section is here again. And then you can subscribe to their Essential Voices newsletter. And then they do mention that they're a member of CLMP. So, yeah. So that's pretty much it. They do have their guidelines, on the main page if you scroll all the way down here too. But yeah, I think it'd be nice just like maybe a submit button or something in the menu or somewhere. But yeah, everything's pretty straightforward and clear to me. Yeah. They have view books, so I really love their logo of FlowerSong Press. I think it's very distinct and cool, right? So I think they have a very nice website layout. Now, yeah, I think that's it. I just wanted to give a tour of it real quick. And, when I was, again, I share some memories and random stuff sometimes towards the end and just some things. So, yeah, I've seen back to the times growing up when, me and my mom, we would, have this tradition when I was younger of like staying up late and playing when I was really, really young as a kid, playing computer games against each other. And we would see who could get to, the highest levels, right, on some of those computer games. And yeah, some of them were like Feeding Frenzy, Diner Dash, right? And there was, I think, a Space Invaders one and some other ones, but yeah, and it was so lol. I think one time or a couple times we stayed past midnight, playing those computer games. One of them I used to play quite a bit myself was like Zuma, and it was like a tile matching puzzle like video game. Not necessarily a video game, but I played it the computer version of it, right? So it was a tile matching puzzle game. I think PopCap Games developed it, or it could be wrong, but it was really interesting. And it sort of reminded me of like Tetris in a sense, but it's like a coil of like orbs and balls, right? And a frog's in the center. And then like you sort of have to, I think you had to match, right? And do combos with the colors of them, right? And yeah, and then there was a frog in the center that would spin, right? And yeah, so it was like matching color game, one of those, right? And some of those computer games as a kid can be, surely you get into it and you try to advance through the levels and stuff. So I had fond memories of doing that. And there was like this another um place, candystand.com. I used to play computer games on it all the time. I don't think it exists anymore, sadly. But yeah, they had all kinds of games. I used to play like computer game, dodgeball. Of course, I played dodgeball in real life too, but the computer version is less painful. I've got smacked when I was a kid. I got smacked in the face with a dodgeball really hard, and then my lip, a bottom lip, I thought I would have needed stitches, but it wouldn't stop, bleeding and stuff. It was really bad back then. And yeah, the dodgeball hit me in my face, and my tooth went into my lip, and it was so bad, guys. I was crying. And yeah, so anyways, so yeah, I don't know. I was thinking back to that Zuma computer game when I'd seen their logo. That's what memory came in my mind first. And yeah, I've seen quite a few, again, Mayan and Aztec films over the years myself. So yeah, I was just thinking back to that. But yeah, I think they have some really cool titles and a really cool vibe at Flower Song Press. So definitely check it out, further and pick up some of the titles, totally. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to, give you a quick tour of their site. I'm trying to make these episodes shorter, guys, not 1 or 2 hours long, but surely some of them may still be that time span. So that's pretty much it. Again, I think it does help to, specify, in their compensation, right, section, just maybe a little bit more specific here on what's received, the discount. Obviously, authors can ask that, if they have further questions and stuff like that. But I think it'd be nice if they had maybe a little bit further FAQ. But other than that, I think they do a really great job. They have phenomenal books. Absolutely, I can tell that they really, it seems, to invest a lot of time and energy into Flower Song Press. And yeah, again, they were winners of the Constellation Award, through CLMP. So, and have a lot of, looks like award winning titles, even. So that's awesome. So yeah, I think this is an example of a really cool press out there, So one to check out further, totally if you're interested in submitting or just picking up some books, even I think totally would suggest that. And one more thing. So I was looking for it in chill subs, but I didn't see it there when I was searching. Flower. Let's see. So I'll probably make a suggested listing. And yeah, I couldn't find it under presses or anything. But yeah, they again are a CLMP member, right? And yeah, so it says year established 2016 again, and yeah, it was saying here though I think established 1995 or something here. But yeah, this is what it's showing here on their CLMP directory of publishers listing 2016. So yeah, and they are on Duotrope again. And yeah, so I'll probably just make a suggested listing unless someone already has, but I typically do that if I don't see a press in there or a particular lit mag I've covered on this series. So yeah, anyways, def check it out. I'm going to sign off for this episode. And yeah, Flower Song Press, guys. Yeah.